Talk about James Maddison then. Not only the fact he's been left out of the squad for the Euros, big blow for him, didn't really feature as much as he would have wanted in Qatar due to injury. What do you make of the fact that he's left the squad? I know talkSPORT has reached out to the FA to ask if there has been any kind of fallout. At the minute, they're not giving any details, but they haven't shut down the possibility that Madison hasn't reacted particularly well to being dropped.
Do you know what? And that's the problem. We have no idea what has happened, so we can speculate as much as we want, but it might be that Gareth has said to him, do you know what, you're not going to be in the final squad, so therefore if you want you can go. It might be that James Maddison went to him and said, Gareth, am I going to play on Friday and be in the side and show? And he turned around and no, can I then go? Or actually he's done a strop. We have no idea whatsoever. And I was listening on the way up, actually. You were on earlier, weren't you, with Al and Gabby?
Yeah, some of us got it on time.
Listen, the trains were a little bit bad, but I wasn't late. That was fine.
Absolutely.
Don't worry.
Times you ran.
And listening to you, unfortunately. But you mentioned about that it didn't have on his social media England. It just had Tottenham and England. I suppose what we need to know is, was England on there in the first place? Because I think there's a big difference between it not being there and it being taken off. Taking off tells me that, he's having a bit of a tiff here and he's not happy at all. He's throwing his toys out the pram. But if it's literally do you know what? You're not going to be in the squad. You can do what you want. Well, actually, do you mind then if I go away? I think from an ideological point of view, you want your players within England to stay with England as much as possible. But if you just try and put your mind into what James Madison might be thinking, he's had a bit of a tough season. He was brilliant at the start. Then he got injured. Not quite the same player since. He's probably been told he's not going to be involved. Maybe he just wants to get away from it all.
Well, you mentioned there, we wonder what James Madison was thinking. We know what he was thinking last week because here's what he said when he joined the boys on Drive.
That's out of my hands. I'll just go there, train well, be a good person and play well. That's all I can do. We've got so many good players. It's brilliant to play with, It kind of takes the level up for anyone when you go and play with the top talent. And I know what I'm capable of, so felt like I finished the season strongly, in a good position. I'm feeling good, feeling fit, feeling like with the injury I had, kind of like my season stalled a bit, so kind of like the end of the season comes at a wrong time, like from club football point of view, because I felt like I was just getting back fully into my groove. But listen, brilliant that we go and meet up and have a couple of friendlies, and then it's up to Gareth.
Interesting, one of the things he said there was about being a good person. I think that's really important for Gareth Southgate when he comes to picking this squad, because you are going to choose certain players, and certainly Ivan Toney and Ollie Watkins fall into this category, who if Harry Kane is fit, aren't going to get too many minutes on the pitch, if any at all. So what you're looking for, as much as being a good player, you need a good professional, don't you, around the camp?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way he was talking there, if someone said to me a week later, do you think he'd be walking away early from the camp? I'd say no chance, no. He wants to be that good person around the camp. And I'm not saying he's not being. I do find it very strange. You can argue the point as, why did Gareth pick 33 in the first place? Why didn't he have 26 and then just a few on standby? But that was picked. And if you're a player and you want to be playing for England as much as possible, as disappointed as you would be if you have been told, surely still stay an extra couple of days. So it's going to be really interesting, because I find that conflicting, what I've just heard, what James Madison said and what he's done.
Well, Gareth Southgate will, of course, be speaking to the media before the game at Wembley, live on talkSPORT tomorrow, so I'm sure that will be the main topic of conversation. We are expecting Curtis Jones, who's also been told that he won't be part of the squad. He's going to stick around and maybe play a part in the game at Wembley. So I guess, again, that just highlights the fact that Madison has decided on a different approach. And it may be, and we have to give him the benefit of the doubt, it may be that he's had an injury-interrupted season. He admitted in that interview with Drive himself that it's been stop-start. Gareth may have said to him, look, you're not going to feature on Friday. You're not going to Germany. Go away, recharge, and get yourself fully fit for the start of the new season. That is a possibility.
It is a possibility, but he probably would have said that to Curtis Jones then as well, and Curtis Jones said, no, I'll stay, if he said that to James Madison. I do think there are two different players, two different mindsets, two different mentalities. James Madison is a senior pro, and he perhaps feels that he should have been in there. We know he's a confident lad, and that confidence you see on the pitch, but Curtis Jones, I think if he'd have walked away, I definitely would have asked questions about that. We still need we need to know what was said, because if he's walked away and had a bit of a strop, then that's not what he was saying a week ago.
How do you see it now? So no Maddison, no Curtis Jones, no Gerald Quansah we expect, no James Trafford. I think he was always going to be the goalkeeper that was left at home. So there's 3 more to be cut from the squad. I mentioned on breakfast that I was worried for Lewis Dunk, although I know he himself is reasonably confident he will get the call. Interestingly, Faye Carruthers, our England correspondent, pointed out to me that Adrian Durham and Jim Proudfoot have been looking at previous squads. Gareth Southgate has only ever taken 2 strikers, never taken 3. Kane's going to go. Does that leave one of Watkins or Tony to miss out? And does that help Jarrod Bowen? Because not only could he be back up to Bukayo Saka, but he can play as a number 9 as well.
Yeah. Is that with 23 each time, or has that been a 26? I'm not sure.
Both ways. He's never taken 3 strikers, even when he's been able to take 26 players.
Well, then I would worry for one of those strikers. Look, I personally
Which one?
I'd take all 3. I really would. I think if Harry Kane got injured, obviously, even if he doesn't play well, he's going to be playing in Game 2 and Game 3. But if he does get injured, you need to have another striker who can start and another one who can come off the bench. I feel really bad saying this, and almost my argument goes against my conclusion. Ollie Watkins has had a wonderful season, not just in terms of scoring goals, but assists as well. He can be versatile, even though we've not seen him. We know that he can play out wide if need be, but he's obviously dominated that kind of front role for Aston Villa. I just feel that Ivan Toney, when he's played for England, and that's why I think tomorrow is going to be absolutely crucial as to how well he does. And again, it shouldn't
But we
really...
think Kane will start. We think that Kane's going to start. I mean, does that give the indication that maybe Toney could be the one to miss out?
Yeah.
Because, of course, Watkins started the first game?
Possibly. I mean, I personally would take Ivan Toney. I think the fact that what we've seen, those 2 games against Belgium and Brazil, I think what we saw was Ollie Watkins not quite been able to produce what he does for Aston Villa for England. And the way he made his runs, it was almost like he didn't have confidence in himself to drop off a lot. It was always the ball in behind, which we know is obviously very dangerous for defenders. But he's got to find a way to get involved in the game if he's not getting the ball. And he wasn't getting the ball in the last one. Very difficult, of course, 5 at the back. But then you find a way in the way that Harry Kane can find a way. Not only did he score a goal when he came on, but he still had plenty of touches and he got involved in the game. And I think Ivan Toney can do that. Added to the fact that we know that Ivan Toney is one of the best penalty takers in world football, I'd be very surprised if we don't go all the way and have at least one penalty shootout.
Penalty shootouts in England, they go together at major tournaments, don't they? That is absolutely for sure. We've had a text here. Surely Grealish has to miss out. Poor season. You have to take 3 strikers. Let us know your views on that. You can text us 810 89. Give us a call 03717 22 3344. Who would you cut from the 33? We know that James Maddison and Curtis Jones won't be on the plane. What do you make of the fact that James Maddison has already left the camp? We're going to talk Manchester City next and their quite ridiculous attack on the Premier League. This is talkSPORT.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Friday mornings from 10 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.